When you make the decision to live in alignment with your true self, when you choose to move forward without fear, you begin a journey of deep transformation. You stop trying to fit in where you no longer belong. You stop tolerating people and situations that don't honor your presence. Instead, you begin to attract those who genuinely resonate with your energy. But this shift is rarely easy. Carl Jung once explained that the unconscious mind constantly challenges us. If you've spent your entire life allowing others to define who you should be, if you've shaped your personality to adapt to environments that never truly nourished you, then the moment you take a step toward authenticity, it can feel deeply unsettling. It may feel like a threat, not only to yourself, but to those who have grown used to the version of you that played along. The people who once surrounded you may resist this transformation. They may try to convince you to stay the same. Some may even try to make you feel guilty for wanting something different. It's not always because they have bad intentions. Often, it's because your growth shines a light on their own stagnation. Your evolution forces them to confront the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. But here's the truth that Jung invites us to embrace. Every time you shrink yourself to make others comfortable, every time you dim your light so that others don't feel overwhelmed, you are betraying your own essence. And when you finally find the courage to be who you truly are, when you stop fearing judgment and start standing in your light, you'll notice that certain relationships begin to shift. Some friendships fade. Bonds you thought were strong may dissolve. It might feel like things are falling apart. But in reality, something deeper is happening. Space is being created for new people, new opportunities, and new experiences that are truly aligned with your soul. This is where many people falter during their personal transformation. When the familiar begins to fade, panic sets in. We fear the unknown more than anything else. Jung reminds us that the human psyche clings to comfort, even if that comfort is deeply unfulfilling. We would rather remain in environments that drain us than face the uncertainty of stepping into the new. But life, in its infinite wisdom, does not let us stay where we no longer belong. When you hold on too tightly to what must be released, the universe has a way of removing it, often in ways that feel harsh. Relationships may break down. Opportunities may vanish. Paths that once seemed clear may suddenly close. These are not punishments, these are signs, signals that something new is on its way. And if you have the courage to let go, if you dare to trust the process, you will discover that what's coming is far greater than what's been lost. But this path requires faith. Not blind faith, but a deep and unshakable trust in yourself, in your journey, in your inner light. You must believe that you are worthy of more. You must be willing to release the old, to make space for the new. Because when your light becomes unshakable, when you choose to live from your authentic self, you will only attract those who are truly ready to walk alongside you. And this is where another profound test appears on the path to awakening: solitude. Many people fear that by releasing what no longer serves them, they will be left alone. And sometimes, for a while, that's exactly what happens. You may go through a phase where it feels like no one truly understands you. Your social circle shrinks. Deep connections seem scarce. But this solitude is not a punishment, it is a sacred cleansing. Jung teaches us that the unconscious needs space to reorganize. If your life has been filled with relationships that drain you, then a clearing must occur before the right people can arrive. This stage is a test. Will you keep moving forward despite the discomfort, or will you turn back out of fear of being alone? Those who've walked this path know that the real magic happens after this phase. Because when you finally align with who you really are, when you decide that you'd rather be alone than surrounded by people who don't honor your light, the universe begins to respond in ways you never expected. Suddenly, new people arrive. People who connect with you on a soul-deep level, people who uplift you, inspire you, and understand your vision without you needing to explain it. And most importantly, you reconnect with yourself. You realize that solitude isn't something to fear. It's a gift, a sacred opportunity to grow stronger, to get to know yourself, and to build an unshakable relationship with the person you spend your whole life with, you. Because if you can't enjoy your own company, if you don't feel whole without external validation, you'll always depend on others to feel good about yourself. But once you overcome this fear, once you stop desperately seeking others' approval, you arrive at a powerful realization. You no longer need anyone to choose you, because you've already chosen yourself. And in that moment, when you radiate authenticity and inner wholeness, the right people begin to arrive without effort. Not because you were searching for them, but because your light has become so powerful that it naturally draws in those who are meant to walk with you. When you begin choosing yourself, everything changes, not only in your relationships, but in how you live. You stop chasing validation. You stop trying to fit into spaces where you're not seen or valued. You stop begging for love. Instead, you begin to trust what is meant for you. Carl Jung once said that when we are in harmony with the unconscious, life begins to reorganize itself almost magically. You stop fighting the current, and instead, you start flowing with life. Unexpected opportunities emerge. People who truly resonate with your soul show up effortlessly. Paths that once seemed blocked suddenly begin to open. It's not magic, it's alignment. This new inner state you're experiencing now is the direct result of having cleared your internal space, removing everything that no longer resonated with your truest self. However, it's important to understand that being in alignment with yourself doesn't mean life will become effortlessly smooth or free from challenges. The tests will still come, just as they always have. The difference now is that you have the clarity to face them without losing yourself in the process. When your inner light shines brightly, you no longer find yourself entangled in toxic relationships. You stop engaging in emotional manipulation or wasting energy trying to convince others of your worth, because you've come to realize that your value isn't determined by outside validation, but by the relationship you've cultivated with yourself. One of the greatest lessons on this path is learning how to say no. Society has conditioned us to be agreeable, to avoid confrontation, to keep quiet rather than risk making someone uncomfortable with our truth. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with you, you're actually saying no to yourself. And every time you tolerate a situation that doesn't nourish you, you're sending a message to your subconscious that your well-being is not a priority. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to honor your light. It's not selfishness and it's not arrogance. It's self-respect. When you define your boundaries clearly, you begin to attract people who respect them. And those who were only in your life because they benefited from your lack of boundaries will naturally drift away, not because you pushed them out, but because they can no longer manipulate you or feed off your energy without giving anything in return. This is where real transformation begins. When you learn to protect your energy, when you stop pouring yourself into one-sided relationships, and when you prioritize peace over the need for approval, you become magnetic. You no longer have to chase anything. What's meant for you will find you effortlessly and at the right time. But to reach this state, you must be willing to let go. Let go of people who are not ready to honor your authenticity. Let go of the old patterns that led you to sabotage yourself. Let go of the urge to control every outcome in your life. And yes, letting go can be terrifying because it demands trust. Trust that the emptiness left behind won't be permanent. Trust that something better is on its way. Trust that the universe holds a bigger plan for you. Jung once said that the unconscious always knows what is best for us, but our conscious mind often gets in the way of that wisdom. We overthink, we doubt, we resist change because the unknown feels frightening. But true peace comes when we stop fighting what is and start flowing with what wants to be. When you align with your authenticity, you begin to notice that the things which used to weigh you down no longer have power over you. You stop obsessing over the past because you understand that every experience was a stepping stone in your growth. You stop fearing the future because you trust you're on the right path. Most importantly, you no longer seek happiness in external things because you've discovered that true fulfillment has always been within you. This is the insight Jung wanted us to grasp. Life isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you truly are. It's not about squeezing yourself into someone else's mold, but about shaping your life around your own truth. And when you finally allow yourself to be who you were always meant to be, life meets you with reward and grace. Another challenge will soon present itself, the temptation to turn back. There will be moments when you'll miss your old ways, when you'll feel nostalgic for the familiar dynamics, even the unhealthy ones. You may question yourself, wondering whether you made the right decision in walking away from certain people or situations. And that's perfectly natural. The mind craves what it already knows, even if what it knows is no longer aligned with your well-being. Carl Jung reminds us that growth is not a linear journey. Some days you'll feel empowered, fully aligned with your truth, anchored in clarity. But on others, doubt may sneak in and try to drag you back into old habits and outdated versions of yourself. In these moments, you must remember why you began this path in the first place. Because once you've tasted the freedom of being who you truly are, you can no longer settle for less. You can't go back to shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold your light. The real challenge isn't leaving the old behind. It's having the strength to stay true to yourself when the old comes knocking. The truth is, many people are not prepared for this level of awareness. They'd rather remain in mediocre relationships, lifeless jobs, or environments that stifle their growth, simply because that's easier than confronting uncertainty. But the discomfort of living a life that doesn't resonate with who you are is far greater than the discomfort of releasing what no longer serves you. As you progress along this journey, you begin to notice a deeper shift. The opportunities that arrive in your life feel more organic, more aligned. You stop chasing what resists you because you understand, on a soul level, that what is truly meant for you will never require you to betray yourself to receive it. And this isn't just wishful thinking. It's a deeper knowing, grounded in trust. This is where Jung's concept of synchronicity comes to life. When you live in alignment with your inner truth, everything starts to fall into place in ways that once felt impossible. The right people begin to show up at the right time. The right doors open, almost effortlessly. The obstacles that once seemed immovable begin to dissolve, not because you forced them to, but because you're no longer working against your own essence. This kind of alignment only becomes possible after deep inner work. After you've confronted and healed the wounds that once made you chase external validation, after you've learned to set boundaries without guilt, after you've stopped looking outward for something that was always within you. And yet, this is where many people stumble. They want the rewards without the work. They want to attract the right people without releasing the ones who drain them. They want to discover their purpose without facing their shadow. They want peace without letting go of the chaos they've clung to for so long. But the truth remains, you can't receive the new if your hands are still holding on to the old. You can't change your life if you keep repeating the same patterns. You can't attract what you truly deserve if you're still afraid to release what's simply taking up space. Jung said, real transformation happens the moment we dare to look at ourselves with absolute honesty. When we stop blaming others for our unhappiness and take full responsibility for our lives. When we stop searching outside for something only we can find within. It's in that moment, when you allow yourself to shine fully, without fear, without doubt, that you begin to uncover the truth that has always lived inside you. And when your light becomes unshakable, you no longer attract people who fear your radiance. You only draw in those who are ready to honor it. You've made it this far for a reason. Something deep within you knew that this message was meant for you, right now, at this exact point in your journey. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't random. It was your unconscious guiding you toward the next chapter of your evolution, a gentle but powerful reminder. It's time to wake up, to release what no longer belongs, and to step fully into the power of your authentic self. Now you have two choices. You can let this message fade, treating it as just another passing reflection, or you can allow it to become a turning point, a moment that divides your life into before and after. A moment where everything changes because you choose to act. If you truly want to live in your truth, if you're ready to only attract those who respect your light, then you must move beyond understanding. You must live it. Integrate it into your daily choices, your relationships, your thoughts, and the way you show up for yourself. And here's where I invite you to join something greater. You don't have to walk this path alone. There are countless others, just like you, awakening, searching, healing. There are people out there who needed this message as much as you did. And by sharing it, by speaking your truth, by joining this growing wave of awakened souls, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping others remember their light too. So if this resonated with you, tell me, what part spoke to your heart the most? What belief, situation, or relationship are you finally ready to let go of? Because your story, your courage, might be the spark that helps someone else find their own. And if you haven't already, subscribe, stay connected, and continue this journey with us, because this is just the beginning. Together, we'll keep diving deeper into the mysteries of the unconscious, unlocking the hidden messages your soul has been trying to reveal, and discovering the tools you need to live in complete alignment with your essence. Remember this: when you dare to shine, the world transforms with you. This is your moment. Choose your light, live your truth, and become a part of this rising community of awakened souls who are ready to reshape reality from the inside out. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep growing, keep exploring, and never stop lighting the way with your authenticity.